Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Friday morning, March 18th. We're going to focus in on the severe weather threat across this deep south, south-central part of the nation over the next several days. We have a threat today across places like Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, all the way up into the Tennessee Valley region. That severe weather threat kind of shifts to the eastern seaboard. Not quite as dramatic on Saturday, but nonetheless, there can be some strong to severe thunderstorm activity along the east coast on Saturday into Saturday night. Then a renewed threat, perhaps an even more impressive threat, comes in the early and middle parts of next week across the south central states, eventually spilling on over into the southeastern part of the nation. This is the time of the year. We're now into the second half of the month of March, and certainly for the second half of the month into the month of April, severe weather is a threat, especially across the southern states, and one of the contributing factors will be the continuation of some colder than normal outbreaks of air. That certainly produces a clash in the atmosphere between increasingly warm and humid air, perhaps to the south and east, and the colder, remaining cold air relative to normal to the north and west. And again, we'll show multiple parameters in the 0Z run of the GFS that suggest we have severe weather possibility all the way through the middle part of next week in parts of the southern states. This is the forecast map for today and tonight by Noaa's Storm Prediction Center based out in Norman, Oklahoma. They're putting up probabilities here of some severe weather, and there's an enhanced threat across southern and central Alabama, extending all the way into eastern Mississippi, extreme western Georgia, but really this entire area from the Tennessee Valley down to the Gulf Coast. Should be on the lookout today for strong to severe thunderstorm activity, and that includes the possibility of isolated tornadoes. Now on Saturday, the severe weather threat shifts to the eastern seaboard, not as dramatic as it will be today, but nonetheless, anywhere along the I-95 corridor region, let's say from New York down all the way down to Florida, should be on the lookout for strong to potentially severe thunderstorm activity on Saturday evening as a cold frontal system pushes in from the west to the east. Cooler air will finally arrive on Sunday, ending the threat of severe weather, but again, be on the lookout for some strong to severe thunderstorm activity today in the deep south, especially Alabama, and tomorrow along the eastern seaboard. Now we're looking ahead here to the Storm Prediction Center forecast for Monday, which is day 4, and to see probabilities as high as 30% 4 days out is quite impressive. And again, I am quite concerned with this particular threat coming in the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday time frame of next week, especially across the south central states on Monday afternoon, Monday evening, gradually spill to the east across the deep south into the southeastern part of the nation. But this is the forecast of severe weather probability on Monday. And again, I think the area of concern on Monday night will be Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, and Arkansas. Well, let's now break down this forecast for severe weather possibilities by using the operational run of the GFS at 0Z last night. First, we're looking at the vorticity fields, and here we go. We have a very healthy upper level maxima, vorticity maxima, as we begin the day here on Friday. That will certainly contribute to the possibility of severe weather. Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee Valley, right in this region today. It gradually moves into the eastern U.S. by later tomorrow. This is Saturday midday forecast map. Be on the lookout for strong to potentially severe thunderstorms from Florida all the way up to, let's say, New York City or so. Not as dramatic of a severe weather threat as it will be today, but nonetheless be on the lookout tomorrow afternoon as that cold frontal system pushes in from west to east anywhere along the eastern seaboard. Then we get into the early part of next week. Here's a Sunday forecast map, and here we go all the way by Monday morning. Look at this. This is a very healthy looking vorticity maximum sliding into the south central part of the nation. And again, on Monday afternoon, Monday evening, I expect this part of the nation, Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas, to be in that severe weather threat zone, and it's something that we'll monitor closely over the next several days. We move forward here, and this tends to spin around and not make much progress to the east. So this severe weather threat could remain out across the south central states into the day on Tuesday, perhaps even into the middle part of next week. Some of the energy moves to the east, so expect a severe weather threat to kind of slide slowly to the east, maybe into the southeastern states by the middle part of next week. But again, all the way from Texas, let's say, to Florida and Georgia, watch out for that period Monday to Wednesday of next week. Well, let's look at this in terms of 500 millibar height anomalies, and here we go, beginning of the day here on Friday. Pretty healthy looking upper level low situated over Oklahoma. Again, enhancing the chances for severe weather later today in Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, and Tennessee. And then we'll see that moves to the north and east and increases the chance for some storms, strong storms along the eastern seaboard on Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening. Not quite the severe weather threat tomorrow that we'll see today. Nonetheless, watch out for some strong thunderstorms as a cold front moves in tomorrow afternoon, places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. Then look at this. By tomorrow evening, we already see the next strong upper level low, and that dives to the south and east. By the time we get to Monday morning, a very impressive upper level low sitting over New Mexico. And again, this is the time period to watch out for severe weather, let's say all the way from Texas to Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas, right in this region. We're talking Monday afternoon, Monday evening, and this system will tend to slow down in its movement to the east, and here we are all the way into Tuesday morning, and then all the way into Wednesday morning, still sitting out over the central part of the nation. And what that does is it probably produces a prolonged period of severe weather possibilities all the way from Texas, let's say, to Florida and Georgia in the Monday to Wednesday time frame of next week. Well, I mentioned the likelihood for some more cold air outbreaks, cold relative to normal. That certainly increases the clash in the atmosphere between typically warm and humid air to the east, cold and drier air to the north and west. And here we go, beginning the day here on Friday. That clash zone right now, setting up right across this part of the nation, colder air to the west, warmer air to the east. Let's move forward here. And again, that shifts into the Tennessee Valley later on today. This is the area of concern. Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, Tennessee, again with a cold front sliding across the the south central part of the nation. And then we go into the weekend here, and by Saturday evening, a cold front arriving in the eastern states. Watch out for the possibility of strong, potentially severe thunderstorms tomorrow along the eastern seaboard, all the way from Florida to New York, as that cold front moves in from west to east. Then we get into the latter part of the weekend, the early part of next week, and here we go. By Monday morning, notice, again, a clash in the atmosphere, cold air relative to normal out over the Rockies, warmer, more humid air out to the east, sets the stage for severe weather possibilities. Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana on Monday night. And with that slow movement, that threat will continue across the south central states, probably edge its way into the southeastern states during that early to middle part of next week, the Monday to Wednesday time frame. Here we are all the way into Wednesday of next week. A big clash here in the atmosphere in terms of temperatures. Very cold relative to normal out across western Texas, warm and humid out across the southeastern states, setting the stage, I'm concerned, for severe weather. Really for a few days here, possibility for a few days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Texas, Oklahoma, all the way into the southeastern coastal region, again, early, middle part of next week. Well, let's wrap up with the surface forecast maps from the 0Z run of the GFS. Cold enough for some snow in the cold sector of this particular low pressure area across upstate Iowa. And again, watch out for severe thunderstorms, Georgia to Mississippi, and especially southern and central Alabama into Tennessee. And then that severe weather threat kind of shifts to the eastern seaboard, not nearly as dramatic tomorrow as it will be today, but watch out for strong thunderstorms. At this time, the cold frontal system right in this region, right here on Saturday morning. Watch out in the afternoon, D.C., Philadelphia, New York City for a possible strong thunderstorm. Colder air moves in for the day on Sunday into the eastern states. Then we move ahead into the early part of next week, and here we go, the beginnings of a potential severe weather threat on Monday night. Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, cold air, maybe some snow across the Rocky Mountain states. And look at this influx of warm and humid air from the Gulf of Mexico all the way into the south central part of the nation. So you have cold, dry air to the north and west, even the possibility of snow come Monday morning, warm, humid air, kind of a classic setup for the United States for severe weather, including the possibility of tornadoes. Let's move forward here. Again, that system out across the south central states will be a slow mover. Kind of tends to sit and spin for a while. Monday evening, watch out in this zone right here. But unfortunately, this threat will last all the way into the day on Tuesday across the Tennessee Valley, the deep south, and eventually kind of spills on out over to the east into the southeastern part of the nation, maybe even some heavy rainfall by midweek into the mid-Atlantic region, and just to the north of the northern mid-Atlantic, maybe cold enough for some frozen precipitation. We'll focus in on that during the early part of next week. In fact, we see right here some ice in the forecast map for Wednesday, upstate Pennsylvania. But severe weather is definitely on the table, not only for today and tomorrow, today especially across Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Mississippi, and tomorrow along the eastern seaboard, but again early, middle part of next week, first Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, and then gradually shifting to the east across the deep south into the southeastern states by the middle part of next week. That's it for now. For ArcfieldWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.